Hi friends, now programming is all about solving problems, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some cool websites which you can use. Now the first website which I'm going to be talking about is W3 School. Now this is probably one of the first, or if not the first ever website I ever used when I started my programming journey. You can learn like the basics of Java, HTML, CSS, Python and all sorts of programming languages in there. And it's simple to use and they give you like multiple problems where you can solve, and the problems which they give you are quite basic, but it gives you like a good foundation for your start of your programming journey. If you're like a complete beginner in programming and all that, I recommend maybe the first website you can check out is W3 School. It makes you have a good foundation in programming, which is good. Now the second thing which I'm gonna share with you is from a YouTuber. I once watched this YouTuber called thenewboston. Now this guy was actually one of the reasons why I actually started to do computer science. Now this guy is like a fantastic programmer and stuff like that, and he used to make tons of YouTube videos and stuff like that. I'll put his YouTube channel in the description below if you want to check it out. A lot of people actually watch his YouTube videos, and I think now he's actually a lecturer in some university. He makes ton of programming tutorials on YouTube. Everything is like in a playlist. So he has like a Python playlist. He also has like a Java playlist and all that. And it's all for beginners. So like I would always watch like every video. And like when I'm watching the video, I actually like practice that code. So I actually type that code in like Visual Studio Code and like run the program and stuff like that. Because like programming is all about doing it essentially. And his videos are like for beginners. They're quite beginner friendly to be honest. And he provides a good foundation also for beginners and stuff like that. And it's very easy to learn. And in fact, he's like one of the reasons why I actually started YouTube. Because like I actually have a Java playlist just like him. I actually started making programming videos because of him essentially. And now I'm going to be talking about one of the most famous websites there is, which is called Leetcode. Now it's probably one of the most famous websites there is to like solve problems and stuff like that. And there's also a good community of people who post their solutions for each problem. Now I've spent a lot of hours in Leetcode where basically I can like do one question and it would probably take me like 8 to 10 hours to do that question essentially. But I think if you have spent like too long trying to solve a problem, it's much better if you just see the solution and like understand it from there, or like just ask for help from other people, or just skip the problem entirely. But of course, you should not be afraid to Google. I Google like answers all the time essentially. Now a cool website which I actually use is Hackerrank. Now Hackerrank is a cool website where there are like a lot of problems where you can solve and stuff like that, and actually have some certificates which I actually got from Hackerrank, because I solved some kind of assessment in Hackerrank and I got like the required marks to get a certificate essentially. And it's somewhat like Leetcode interview questions. There's a lot of questions and there's some specifically for job interviews and stuff like that. So it provides questions and problems like the website Leetcode as well. But if I compare this website, Hackerrank and Leetcode, I think I would say like Hackerrank is more easier. Like the questions are like slightly more easier than Leetcode, and I feel like the user interface in Hackerrank is like much nicer than Leetcode. And so if you find like Leetcode questions slightly hard and stuff like that, you can like just use Hackerrank to build up your programming skills essentially. Now another website is Hackerearth. Now in Hackerearth, you can also practice like a lot of problems and stuff like that, and it's quite nice as well. And in Hackerearth, you can also participate in some hackathons and stuff like that if you want to. Now there's another cool website called Projecteuler. Now these problems that they give you is somewhat more on the math side, but it requires you to actually make proper algorithms for you to actually solve the question. And it's actually quite fun. Like the questions that they give you ranges from beginners to advanced. So like first they will start off with like the easiest question there is, and then like the more questions you solve, the more harder the question becomes and stuff like that, which is nice. So in this website, you won't be thrown in the deep end essentially. You'll be doing like increasing difficulty of questions. Now another cool website which I found is called Programmr.com. Now in this website, they give like all kinds of programming questions and stuff like that, and you also have like a lot of questions to train yourself. And they also provide some ebooks as well. But for those ebooks, you kind of have to pay for it. Another website is called Codechef. Now this website has like competitions, but there's also like a lot of programming questions which you can use to improve your programming skills. And in this website, there's a thing called self-learning, where if you're like a beginner in coding, and in that website it's called like unrated coders, you'll be given like beginner problems, and like there's a ton of beginner problems. And then if you have some experience in like programming and like solving problems, you'll then be given like self-learning for coders, and they also have like a lot of problems in there and stuff like that. Now there's also another website called Codeabbey. Now in this website, there's a lot of programming problems and stuff like that. And in this website, they kind of have like a nice way of ranking essentially. Like they have a thing where like every problem you solve, they give you some blessings, which is some sort of point system in that website. You'll also be given different titles depending on the number of points you have essentially. Now there's another website which I found which is called DevDocs, which is basically like an encyclopedia for all sorts of documentations, and it's like for all kind of languages. So if you like ever wonder what does this thing mean in a programming language, you can just use that website which basically explains it. Now there's also Discord groups which I am actually in, which is called cscareers.dev, where they talk about like how interning in a place is like, and they really talk about anything related to computer science essentially. And there's another Discord group called CS Career Hub, where you can talk to seniors about like how doing computer science is like. But for these two Discord channels, like they offer a lot of help to like people, but it can also get addicting if you are always looking at the chats and stuff like that. So my advice is that if you have a problem, just put it in there, and like I think people will answer it. But like don't stay too long looking at those Discord chats and stuff like that, because you can waste a lot of time like just looking at all the chats and stuff like that. And I also found this newsletter which I actually follow. It's called Hackernoon, and they provide like newsletters about tech and programming stuff, which is quite cool. And like one of the newsletters which I read is about testing in Python. So like how do you actually make some test codes in Python essentially. And like that newsletter also teaches a lot about like programming skills and stuff like that. And they post a lot about computer science stuff. Alright, that's it for this video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.